Warning.
Watch very closely now. 3, 2, 1. Bzow! Check that out.
The following podcast features terrible jokes.
You know you can use Hot Wheels cars when you need to make a saving throw in D&D? Every car is die-cast.
Usually about board games.
We want the fun. Gotta have that fun.
Must insist that no one attempt to recreate any joke performed on this podcast.
We had less technical issues than $1 million company.
All right!
This is Boards and Swords.
Hello out there, everyone. Welcome to Boards and Swords. I am one of your hosts. My name's Chris Renshaw, and this is a podcast where we have bad jokes, we've got good folks, and we've got some tabletop games to talk about. Like I said, I'm Chris Renshaw. Over there on the opposite side of the screen, that's Mr. Philip Herbig. How are you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this wonderful, wonderful Monday evening with Boards and Swords.
Okay, I was like, you left a hang there for a second. I didn't know what was going on.
You gotta have the thematic pause for effect.
Okay, we'll see. In this day and age,
so I'm told,
especially when we're like late, I'm like, is somebody? There's like the pause. I'm like, do we lose some money? But no, because we have.
I mean, I could do that. I could just be like, hey.
No jokes there. But we do have somebody here with us again today. Our very special guest. We have Dan from Monster Fight Club. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of this.
So, for those people that don't know what Monster Fight Club is, why don't you give us a breakdown?
Sure. Monster Fight Club is a great miniature gaming company that specializes in pre-painted miniature gaming terrain. That's kind of where we got our footing here. And we've got everything from rocks and trees and other things to really bring your tabletop gaming to life and give it that three-dimensional feel. But we've also created our own tabletop skirmish game, Cyberpunk RED Combat Zone, which ties hand in hand with the Cyberpunk RED RPG. And also we have our Borderlands game as well, which will be coming out to full retail in about a month or so.
Yes. And so that's like I've talked briefly about Monster Fight Club because I first got introduced to your stuff last year at Gen Con, but we will get back to that. But first, we have some news to talk about. News. All right. First up, I made an app for roofers to buy products from local dealers. It's called Starfinder. So Paizo announced Starfinder 2nd Edition. Paizo announced Starfinder 2nd Edition, a new edition of the popular Starfaring, I almost said Seafaring, RPG, which will begin playtesting with the release of the Starfinder playtest rulebook in summer 2024. It was in their keynote presentation for Gen Con 2023. I feel like this was bound to happen. This is pretty obvious considering they've been switching to the whole like orc license and all that. So, they got the revised books and everything coming out, and they did the whole Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So I feel like it was only a matter of time before Starfinder 2nd Edition came out.
Yeah. It's also been, they'll start playtesting at the 7-year mark.
Yeah.
For first edition of Starfinder.
This is the only problem I have with this is Paizo does this, and I hate it. I hate the whole, we're going to put out a physical beta rulebook, playtest rulebook, and then you can buy that, and then in a year you can buy the exact same rulebook, but it's the final version. I don't like that. Just put a PDF out, and then get final version. It just smells like you just want to squeeze as much money as possible.
Chris, did you just advocate a digital-only delivery of a product?
Yes, when it's a beta rulebook.
Okay.
You realize if this was Wizards of the Coast and they said that we're putting out the one D&D rulebook and then next year we're going to put out this is the playtest rulebook, people would have a fit. But because it's Paizo, it's okay.
Okay, gotcha. August 21st, 9:26 7:26 p.m. All right, gotcha. All right. Date and time. Got it marked.
Dan, do you play any RPGs at all?
I do. We played Dungeons and Dragons with my gaming group. We had a couple runs with Rangers of Shadowdeep and Frostgrave, but that's pretty much it. I was always D&D over Pathfinder or Starfinder.
Yeah. I tried to run a Starfinder game once, but that was like in the middle of COVID, and I found out we just wanted to talk more than we actually wanted to play RPGs. It's like
That social feeling.
Yeah, I need that social interaction more than I want to actually do an RPG.
Sure.
All right. Next story. A guy that buys a $2 million magic car is in a class on his Malone.
Oh!
Some of these are old because we're in that pre or post Gen Con thing where everything's getting filtered out. But yeah, Post Malone bought that one of one magic card. The one that was going for like $2 million. Yeah. When I found the One Ring, the first person who came to mind was Post Malone.
I'm just like, I read that and I was like, how?
How what?
I didn't even like how I am aware of Post Malone.
Yeah.
I was not aware of how in the Magic the Gathering scene he was.
I guess if you're really into Post Malone, you knew that.
Oh, that could be how it was. Yeah.
And so like this would be like if I found something and thought of Warhammer, because it's like, well, no, duh. You play Warhammer all the time. Of course you're gonna. It's the same thing. It's like he gets a magic. Oh, I thought of Post Malone. Well, that's because you like go to all his concerts and stuff, probably.
There you go. All right, cool.
But I love it. Fun. Like all these people, these card things are wanting to buy, and he's like, nah, I'm selling to Post Malone.
I do like the Spain-based hobby shop. They were like, hey, we'll give you some home-cooked paella.
Yes.
And now, we all know me and my love of food, and I'd be sitting there like, I mean, free food.
They're like, I want all the papaya I can ever have.
The paella?
Paella, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I do just, my beef with, it's only mint 9, though.
Yeah. That's the drool. The drool from unpacking it.
Yeah, the drool. Probably some oil from his fingers. He didn't open the pack with
apparently,
gloves on or something.
If you remember back the story, it was based on the printing. So like they didn't even print it that well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why it was which
it should be like its own. It's a one of one. It should be its own like mint 10 with an asterisk.
That sucks when it's like I didn't even do anything and it's still not a 10. So, all right. Moving along. If you took the car from Knight Rider and changed the voice to a cat, would that make it now a kitten? So, I'm just going to move on past the silence there. In another one of those, the board game based off the card game, based on the TV show, based on the blah, 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 blah. So, there was a card game called Exploding Kittens. You may or may not have heard of it. Very popular. I'm being sarcastic. They made a TV show, or making a TV show about it on Netflix. And now they're making a card game based on that TV show that's based on the card game. So Netflix show based on the Exploding Kittens card game is getting turned into a card game. Look at this description for Exploding Kittens, Good versus Evil, is a card game based on the new Netflix series, which is in itself an adaptation of the original game. It was initially announced back in 2022 as being an adult animated TV series co-starring Tom Ellis, known as Lucifer, and Lucy Liu. Is that supposed to be Lucy Liu?
That is Lucy Liu. Yeah.
Okay.
I can see the eye. Yeah.
Yeah, alongside Abraham Lim, blah, blah, blah. But like in the show, God and the devil are forced to reside on Earth as two house cats living together under the same roof.
Okay, I'd watch that.
Yeah, I know. That sounds amazing. Plus, knowing that it has Tom Ellis, who played on the show Lucifer. So it's like, I really hope he's the evil cat, you know?
Nope, I hope he's the God cat.
Oh.
Yep, just flip it.
If anything, this just makes me happy for the TV show more than the card. Like, I don't really care about the card game. It's gonna be is what it is. Okay. So it's just a skinned version of it. That's all it is. Okay, because it says it'll feature the same gameplay mechanics as the original, but featuring characters and artwork directly from the show.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's just a themed version of it. That's a little bit That's a little bit more called for, but
I was gonna say they keep that going. It's gonna be like High School Musical, the series,
yeah.
the movie.
Yeah, I still have my Exploding Kittens, the original one. It even has the box that like meows when you open up. It was the first first Kickstarter I ever backed. I had looked at a bunch of Kickstarters, and then that was the one I was like, I'm signing up for Kickstarter now. Because I like the oatmeal. All right. This next product will give you enough dice for an adventure. I'm all for like fun, geeky products. And I saw Fanroll, which is Metallic Dice Games. They revealed an Advent dice calendar. And this is something I've been thinking about forever. Because like every year you see like the Advent calendars with the socks. Or you see there's the Advent calendar that had like Lego minifigs. And I'm like, why are there not more nerdy Advent calendars? Like I was happy when the Escape the game or Exit the Game came out with an Advent calendar. I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Let's ignore the fact that I didn't do it because I suck at Advent calendars, apparently. But I was like, why is there not a dice Advent calendar? Like, I swear, I think I came up with this idea like 3 years ago. It was like, there should be a dice Advent calendar. Now there is. It doesn't list the price, but it says it comes with over $80 worth of dice. So I would imagine the way that's phrased, it would be less than that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, depending on the dice set, that's a set of dice.
yeah. Philip, how much would you pay for an Advent dice calendar?
An Advent dice calendar? I don't know, like $40.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, $40 seems like right for this. So
Pair it up with the boozy mini bottle Advent calendar too.
Okay. I Rusted Beetle says I don't want random dice. I like to pick mine out. Well, okay, then A, this isn't for you, and B, you can never have enough dice. So
says the dice goblin.
Yeah, it's holiday. They're holiday themed. They're holiday themed dice. I mean, how can you say that? And it comes in a Fanroll dice bag that comes with the calendar. So if you want more information, keep your eye on Fanroll by Metallic Dice Games. But let's move along to our last story. I was in a bad place when I came up with this joke. This next story could easily be about pretzels because these guys are probably getting assaulted.
Oh man. It's a very bad place, sir.
Well, it was stuck in my brain because they're designers of a game called Castle Assault.
Okay.
Looks like, by the way, I don't know what BBTS is, but the pre-order for the calendar is at $49.99. That's fair. That's on the high side, but fair, depending on what the things are made of. But yeah, so we talked about this story last time. Persons of interest went and not masked up or anything, just straight up stole $300,000 worth of Big Bag Toy Store. Okay. Worth of magic cards. Well, now and it was like, why have we not caught these people yet? Well, now they have allegedly we have persons of interest, which apparently they're game designers, which a lot of people are like, oh, now we know why they were behind the scenes on Wednesday in a way that it didn't look suspicious, is because they were supposed to be back there and they just decided, hey, let's become robbers, and rolled like a fail on their let's be robbers check. So yeah, they designed they two people. I'm not going to say their names just in case. You can look it up and find out. But they identified the two people. They were attending Gen Con 2023 and might have been there to support their own card game, Castle Assault, which if you look on BGG, their game is now like number 2 on the hotness because there's been so many people talking about the game.
Everyone and their cousin is now.
But it's like, I saw that. It was like, okay, so apparently being good is not the only way you end up on the hotness list for BGG. So
Notoriety works as well.
considering we have somebody here that was an exhibitor at Gen Con, I would just like to say, so Dan, how scary was that when this news story broke, considering that's like, oh, that could easily have been like our product that somebody just walked away with.
It was pretty interesting because it spread around the hall like a rumor. Like, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Did these guys just walked off? People were trying to figure out what game it was. People were trying to figure out who actually it was. But I mean, if you watch like the footage of it and stuff, I would love to hear them like convince one another. Let's steal this. Like, this is a good idea.
You want the audio?
Yeah, like, oh man, like we could take this right now and sell it and make a ton of profit. Like, and they just walked right out. So it was crazy that like nobody picked up on this, and there's so much product around. Like, I'm surprised more things don't happen more often like this.
Yeah, I mean, you have that thought every now and then that's like, man, if I was slightly immoral, then like, oh, I could just like grab something and walk out. But you know, we live in a society.
There's still good people in this world.
Yeah, apparently. I put
But
in the.
that's also why the guys at the Dragon Song Forge booth, they stand at the corners of their booth and they watch you relentlessly.
Or
the dude came over. He's like, "Hey man, how do I calculate tax?" He's like, "Get back on that damn corner."
Did you or this reminds me of it was like a PAX East. I think it may have been the year we went, where Cards Against Humanity just had a booth that was just a table stacked with their games, and they're like, "We trust you to pay for it." They didn't have anybody working it, and it just got gone.
Well, I mean, people do love free things. So
yeah,
they'll go crazy if that free title goes on there.
Yeah, because they like to do those. They're especially back in the tens, they did all sorts of like quirky experiments and stuff. So there was one that's like, we're just gonna have a booth that has nobody in it but product, and A, they wanted to see how long it lasts, and B, to see if anybody actually put money on the table. All right. So with that, Philip, why don't you talk about our Patreon?
Patreon.com/boardsandswords, boardsandswords.com/Patreon. Both of those links are going to get you where you want to go. You can help support the show. All right. We give you, see, he brought it up already. He's ready to go. We've got great stuff in the Patreon. All right. Everyone gets access to the Discord. If you just want to come and hang out in the Discord, that's great. However, there are secret Patreon only channels in the Discord. We've also got, and Chris has brought it up on the screen for everyone to see. One of our goals, all right, the different tiers, all right, you get if you back us for $1 a month, all right, you get access to some bonus bits, a little bit of extra content. You back at $5 a month, Chris is gonna roast your favorite games in the best worst dad joke way possible. Back us a little higher. There's branded D6s that come out.
That's
every
the same.
few
That's
years.
the same. You get the pleasure of me roasting your games, and you get D6s as well.
Oh, that's even better. That's
The only
better,
other higher tier is a T-shirt, but nobody cares about T-shirts. But what we care about is the $1 a month. That's all that matters.
That's all we really want. And if we get to that coveted $50 a month level, just like you can see on the screen, Love Mutants of Castle Heartache. Okay, this is going to be an amazing module that we're going to play through for your listening enjoyment. Okay.
So, fun story. As people that heard last episode, I managed to get the physical copy of this adventure, and I posted it on Instagram, going like, I stopped by the booth and I got this, and I reshared it on my my personal Facebook page as well. And about 10 minutes later, I get a message from my wife going, "What the hell is this?" and sends me the screenshot of it. My wife like hates RPGs and stuff, and she's just like, I like the reputation went down just a little bit less than it already was, based on that. And she was just like, she had this like foul look on her face the entire rest of the day.
Did you tell her I modeled for the cover?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
All right. And with that, let's turn it back to Monster Fight Club. So, how long have you guys been in operation?
Monster Fight Club's been around for about 5 years. We got hit very hard when COVID, kind of reared its ugly head, and it got pretty tight there for a bit, for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. But now we're our 5 years now, and Halloween will be our 6th birthday.
Nice. I mean, so why the Monster Fight Club? I have always wondered that.
So the owner, John Kovalevsky, was with Gale Force 9 for a long time. He's the one that started them. And he moved through different companies and eventually got to a point where he's like, I'm going to break away and kind of do my own thing. And everyone's like, well, what are you going to do? And he goes, I don't know, maybe I'll start a fight club. And that's, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but that's the actual story. So he said, I'll start a fight club, and there you go. It became Monster Fight Club. Everyone always asks us, is it like a monster fighting game? Is it this? Is it that? We're like, no, it's just our company. We've got other things and everything. So
that's exactly, like when I first saw it, that's exactly what I thought of. I thought it was, supposed to be, especially because I think last year when I saw it, it was, you guys were promoting Tentacle Town.
Yes. Yeah. Tentacle Town was our first board game. Which is just a cute little worker placement area control game where at the end of every turn, these rubber tentacles come out of the water and basically cause chaos for your villagers. So you have to heroically defend them, or they attack houses and everything. So ultimately preventing you from earning victory points at the end of the game.
Yeah, but like when they were showing it off, they had all these plushy tentacle arms that they would like put on their hands as like gloves. And they were like all the booth workers are having them, so it definitely
those things sell like crazy for us at conventions. Those
I can imagine. That's the one thing is the past 2 years that I've seen both Gen Cons I've seen your booth at. It is quite an attraction to go to because like last year not only had the tentacles but there was also the big kind of mountainous kind of scene.
Yep.
I'd have to dig through my photos to like pull it back up, but I'm pretty sure I showed it on the screen last year. And then this year was the big, huge cargo containers display that they had up. It was like a whole dock's worth of cargo containers. So it's definitely one of those
it's super tanker boat. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those like double takes. Like, wait, what? I got to go check this out. So I'm showing off some.
Yeah, that's always a fun thing to travel with. It's it can be built up to about 10 feet long if we really wanted it to. So it's always an eye catcher and conversation starter.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, and it's one of those like you really do have to see the product to kind of understand because for instance, I had talked about and I had shown like pictures of some of the stuff that I had gotten from y'all at the last Gen Con, but when I took it to our local store and like showed it off with like, you got like, this is a neoprene mat down here. That's not just like some cheap cardboard. And it's double-sided. It's got like a lake or a pond kind of thing on the other side. So you got multiple different layouts. And, you could even have like if it be fall, and you can take the tree parts off. This is on evergreen, but whatever. And then, you've got all sorts of different orientations. I showed this to our store, and we had like a couple of people went and bought like sets. I think one guy ended up, because we were having a tournament later on, they bought 3 of the 3-pack sets like immediately afterwards, because you don't have to put it together, you don't have to paint it. Like, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive than some other terrain. It's still cheaper than like if you want to buy something from like Games Workshop. But, compared to some of the other like MDF stuff, maybe, but you're getting, open the box, dump it out on the table, and we're ready to play.
It takes longer to cut out of the box than it does to actually start using it.
Right. And then something I saw recently. So I believe is the cityscape new? Because
So the Metropolis terrain was a Kickstarter that we did about a few years ago.
okay.
And now it's finally fully taking place and everything.
Yeah, because I think
we bought some special equipment.
Yeah, like last year you were showing it off, but I don't think it was available yet. Like it was coming soon, or something.
Right.
Yeah,
and now it is fully available. And I mean, I'm not just saying it because the logo's on my shirt. This is the best terrain for anything to do in a city fight. Like it's perfect scale. It's sturdy. It looks good in pictures. It's versatile. You can use it actually in the game for multiple levels. I mean, it's the best in the business, hands down.
So, because like as you could see here, so we got like the heavy duty. So what kind of board is this? It's almost I remember seeing pieces of it because it's not just like standard cardboard, right?
The website says it's HDF, high density.
That's what I thought.
HDF.
That's what I thought.
Right. It's a step above MDF. Correct.
Yeah, and then you've got the plastic. I love this, by the way. This is probably my favorite feature. Is the corners, the plastic corner pieces, so you can kind of realign the walls if you need to, instead of just having
it really
them
opens
fixed
up
or
the
glued.
versatility of it.
Yeah,
exactly. It opens up the versatility, and most importantly, you break it down easily.
right.
I mean, I have a bunch of this stuff, and it lays relatively flat in the bin that I have, so I can take a whole city map, and it doesn't really take up that much space.
Right. Yeah, I was showing this off to same group I showed the other stuff off to, and they were because a lot of them were kind of pissed off because not at this, but they had bought their sets of terrain for like what is the Warhammer like approved layouts. There we go, layouts, and then we went to a new edition. And they came out with the new kind of suggested layouts, and some of the building arrangements were completely different. And so it was like, oh, well, now this terrain I have is useless, and I need to go buy, different terrain. Granted, it was not GW stuff, but because it was fixed and already glued together, you can't adjust it. Whereas this, it's like, oh, well, I need a T-shaped wall now. Okay, well, I'll just move this around, and now I have a T-shaped wall. And then not only that, go ahead.
No, I mean, Games Workshop is still king with everything they do. So when they say jump, everyone has to say how high.
Yeah.
We wanted to make our stuff like we did with all of our other products. We want to make it versatile. We want to make it usable for a regular gamer, for someone who's an intense tournament level player. This stuff's versatile for every type of tabletop game that you'll be playing.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest sets I've seen is because I always think of the way that some of the city works, where it's the buildings and the buildings. What was it? The buildings and the fence. It always reminds me of like Marvel Crisis Protocol, like that kind of. It seems like perfect for that style of game, especially when it's something that you can like terrain you can pick up and throw. But like I saw
if
this.
you take a look at like the rural downtown, you'll see the chain link fence and some of the other accessories as well.
Yeah, but like I love this, and I saw this in the booth too. Like the giant like was that 6 stories tall skyscraper?
Yep.
Like you don't usually see
6-story high rise.
Yeah, you don't usually see stuff like that because most games it's like, oh, I'm just gonna play, ground and maybe 1 or 2 floors.
Well, that's one of the great things about Metropolis is you can build it as tall as you want, but every single window, every single door does pop out, so you can fight on every single floor of that building.
Okay, that's good to know.
It'll be a little bit tough, but I mean, you could get in there. You could use one of the larger buildings and have an office on one floor and bathrooms on the other floor, and so on and so forth, and really, really build the interior just as much as you're building the exterior. We played a game of Crisis Protocol where all the buildings were very, very high and you couldn't touch the ground. So unless your character had flight or web crawler or something like that, you couldn't get from building to building.
I'm going to stay over here on the bottom floor. You guys come get me.
Yeah, Captain America was pissed.
I was trying to see if I had. So yeah, there's like a lot of different. What's been y'all's most popular stuff so far?
So definitely, the new buildings have been very popular. The chain link fence itself is definitely one of our number one sellers because so many games can use it, and there's nothing out there like that. I mean, it's you could see through it, you could bend it in half. The whole thing is about 4 feet long, and it folds up to be the size of your wallet.
Yeah.
So it's super versatile. It comes with like you can get a little spool of like fake barbed wire. It adds just a little extra elements to it. Even if you don't paint it, it still looks good. It still works very well for your game types that you're doing.
Oh yeah, like especially like right off the bat, like I said, it's in that same kind of aesthetic as the Marvel Crisis Protocol, but any sort of like zombie themed miniatures game, this is right up that alley.
So at Historicon, the small convention in Pennsylvania, a group did a zombie game where they borrowed some of our Metropolis trainer buildings or chain link fences and stuff. And the guy actually had 2,000 individual zombie models on the board that moved as this giant horde. And again, you take some of these, you take some of our shipping containers, the new things, and you throw some 50 caliber turrets on there, and you got yourself a zombie outpost.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, it was amazing pictures. It was very cool.
But one of the things that you guys have gotten real, that is not what I meant to pull up. One of the things you guys have gotten real into recently, though, is the Cyberpunk. Now that you mentioned it previously, but I'm assuming that was a Kickstarter too, correct?
Yes, that was a Kickstarter too as well. It started off. We've got a very good relationship with R.L. Sorian and Mike Pondsmith and his family, the creators of Cyberpunk. And back in the day, Mike Pondsmith and my boss John had a conversation. He said, "Can we start making us miniatures for our RPG game?" And John, who's a wizard at all things tabletop, started making these great miniatures, and they, were used in the RPG. But people were like, can we use this for other games? And that was really great about them. So eventually got to the point we had so many individual models in the line. We said, let's make our own skirmish game. Skirmish games are on the rise. People don't want to put 50, 60, 100 models on a board anymore. They want to put 8 or 10. So you can get these characters that are highly detailed models and play a fast-paced skirmish game in under an hour while still being thematic and still being cinematic. And it's just it's a really, really fun experience. So we, again, have a great relationship with R.L. Sorian. So every time they come up with something cool in their RPG, we can put it into our skirmish game. And if we do something cool in our skirmish game, they put it into the RPG. So it's just a really, really cool relationship to working with them.
So how does the game play on just like you don't need to get into the super nitty gritty, but just fundamentally, how does the game play?
Absolutely. So basically, just like all tabletop skirmish games, you're going to start off by building your force, choosing your faction. So the core game that you see here on the screen, we have the Maelstrom and the Tiger Claws. The Maelstrom are heavily cybernetically enhanced characters, and the Tiger Claws are a little bit more of like cyber ninjas and things like that. So it's a little bit of a contrast between the two. So you'll pick your force, you'll pick your playable characters and give them gear and everything like that at a predetermined point. You'll pick a scenario that you're going to be playing on. It's on a smaller board, usually a 22 by 30 board. That seems to be the standard skirmish size. And you set up your terrain, you'll play the objectives and the scenario, and ultimately it's turn for turn. So I'll activate one model, then you'll activate one model.
Good.
And back and back and forth. But what's cool is there's certain things in the game that change that. So Oyaba, the leader of the Tiger Claws, has an ability where at the end of her activation, she can activate another free model, another Tiger Claw model for free. So 2 models are moving before you move 1. The Combat Zoners, who are a very powerful faction, they have this combo that they can play where they can move 3 or sometimes even 4 models, maybe even more in a single turn. So they swarm objectives, they swarm, targets that get caught out in the open and everything like that, just because there's this big horde of characters moving your way. So every faction's got their strengths, every faction has their weakness. So you'll go back and forth, again, working to complete objectives, rolling dice using our reaction system. The reaction system is our custom made gameplay scenario where all the dice that you have are connected to tokens, and those colors determine your range and your skills and what dice you're going to be rolling to ultimately decide how you do everything in the game. So it looks like a lot. I mean, I could talk about this all day, but basically, once you get the hang of it, you can set up, play, and break down the game in less than an hour.
Awesome. And so, like, we were showing it up here on the screen. So the box set that you get two, ready to play basically for two players. You get the two factions. Looks like you got the board and all the tokens and cards, but you also get some of that delicious Metropolis terrain as well, and it's just $120, which, as someone that's paid Games Workshop prices, that's a steal.
At Gen Con, we shocked a lot of people with that price point. Because
Really?
the starter factions, the smaller starter factions of like the Lawmen or the Zoners or Trauma Team, they're $50, and you get a full faction, all their objective cards, their loot cards, and everything like that. So basically, you're getting two factions and a ton of stuff, dice, terrain, cards, and things like that for $20 more. So it's an incredibly good deal. It's a great way to get into this game, and it opens the door to so much more in this Cyberpunk universe.
So, excuse me if you mentioned this when you were talking about are they pre-assembled miniatures, or do you still have to glue them together yourself?
You still have to glue them together, but if anyone's ever seen the RPG miniatures, the majority of them are almost all pre-built.
Okay.
There's little things that you could put on there, like someone has a helmet versus no helmet option.
Gotcha.
They'll have a larger gun that they just couldn't fit onto the model and, without it breaking, so you just got to glue that on. And then basically there's two ways to mount them onto their base. You can cut off the little plastic pegs that you have on their feet and glue them down, or you can actually drill through the base. We have predetermined guide holes that let you drill the model in there that secure them to the base a little bit stronger.
Nice. Now, another reason I was really excited to talk with you about this. So I saw another, I think it was a Polygon article where they compared this box set to the Necromunda box set. So is there a campaign element to this game as well?
Yeah, so Polygon did a great article for us. They said it's better than Necromunda, which was a huge win in our corner. And then the opening line has buttery smooth mechanics, which is just hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, it does have that. I'm going to play one skirmish level, just fast paced game, which lets you modify your characters and everything like that to play that one-off game. But we also have a scenario campaign system where the more you play, you can actually level your characters up. In the core box for every faction, you're going to get a generic character, then a level 1, then a level 2 for some of the characters. So their stats will get better, their abilities will get better, and then you'll play objectives that let you, if you win, you can move, and promote one person. And when it gets to a point when you have a certain number of characters promoted, there's almost like an end scenario to win the campaign. It's called the Prove Your Worth. And you'll be playing a specific scenario for the faction that you're playing. And if you win, you essentially win the mini campaign that you're doing.
Nice. See, that's what intrigues me the most, especially like I've started playing Necromunda a couple times this year, and I love the kind of campaign aspect of it and the storytelling that kind of comes through the gameplay. So when I saw that comparison, that was when it was like, because Cyberpunk as a IP, I've not been overly attached to. Like the closest I've gotten is like the Android universe, which is somewhat based on it, in like Android Netrunner and that sort of thing. But then when I saw that comparison, I was like, oh, really?
Yeah, it's an amazing setting. I mean, people always say, is it connected to the video game? Is it connected to the RPG? If the video game is 2077, our game is about 2045. So it's about 30 years before. And the time of the Red, so the Cyberpunk Red, is Arasaka, which is this big military conglomerate that kind of control everything. They have this giant tower in the center of Night City with their fail-safe defense mechanism that if anyone tries to steal it, a nuclear bomb goes off in the tower. And that's what happens, essentially. This bomb goes off in the center of the city, and it's just everything is radioactive, everything is chaotic, and that becomes what was at the time of the Red.
Yes, because correct me if I'm wrong here, but the video game spawned off the RPG, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The RPG has been around for a long
Right.
time. So they made 2077 as like a little bit later in the story. And then, like I said, the RPGs. There was a 2020 version. There was the which again sounded so futuristic in the past, but now it's that's past tense for
I mean,
us.
it was a
But now
hellscape.
yeah, but then we get into the 2045. About like I said, about 2045.
Got it. So you now that you've gotten the sort of the Kickstarter fulfillment, what's next down the pipeline for not just the Combat Zone, but also Monster Fight Club in general?
So we're definitely working with more in the Combat Zone. That's going to be our big ticket for the rest of the year. We have a lot of new models to unleash. We have new factions that are going to be coming. We want to incorporate things like vehicle rules. I mean, if you look at anything in Cyberpunk, there's gunships, there's APC trucks, there's motorcycles. We want to have everything that you see or everything you imagine in Night City. We want to have that in our tabletop game. So models are going to get, factions are going to get new models to really beef them up, give you a little bit more variety. There's going to be new terrain that we're going to release, new vehicle rules and things like that. Our goal is to release mini scenarios, once a month, maybe twice a month, so you can have that mini campaign feel instead of just a skirmish. And then we get into more goodness. We're working on our next Kickstarter for some more terrain. I mean, you saw a brief display of it, which is going to be our super tanker boat, and then that crane mechanism in the shipping containers that we have. And then we've got our Borderlands board game releasing, which did very well for us on Kickstarter. So we're really moving in the right direction. There's a lot of really exciting things coming up for Monster.
As I quickly try and find, I got to bring up this boat because the boat is just amazing.
It's a mixture of MDF, of 3D print, and it's modular, so you can make it as long or as short as you want. The one we had on display was about 7 feet long and can hold over 200 of the shipping containers that we have.
All right, here we go. Now I can flip at the screen. Yeah, look at this boat, Philip. Now, as soon as the picture actually loads, there it goes.
As soon as it clarifies,
yeah, there it
that
goes.
is amazing.
That's what I said. Like, you just walking down the aisle, and then you're like, wait, what? So and
yeah.
You can see like the cityscape stuff that they had even in the background.
Oh yeah, there's the city, but then like even the cranes. I mean, there's all the lines running to like be legitimate cranes.
Although that crane actually moved and everything. You could pick up a container from the boat and pull it back onto the harbor.
That is
wild. So again, John Kovaleski is a wizard. I keep saying it because it's true. I mean, he literally creates this stuff out of thin air, and it's just the best in the business. And every single floor of that ship opens up so you can fight on every single level. The smokestack behind the bridge is a dice tower. It's
oh, yeah, that's awesome.
It's little things like that just make it super, super playable. But again, there's nothing like it out there. This is it's the best in the business. The story for the super tanker is during COVID, Mike Pondsmith ran a Cyberpunk RED RPG game with John and a couple other people, part of our team Monster. And basically this ship, the Anne Boleyn, was off Night City just circling, and nobody knew why. And basically after the bomb went off, the ship kind of went haywire and couldn't go back to port. So this is full of gear and stuff like that. So the team Monster went out there, and all of a sudden the robots and security defenses activated, and they had to fight their way not only on the ship, but then also off the ship, trying to steal as much as they could.
I showed this picture to some of my 40K players, and they said that one of the guys was like, I would only get all that stuff, and then what was the ship that wrecked in the canal? That was like ever something.
Oh yeah. Dang it!
He was just talking about he would make a scenario based around that, about it wrecking and being stuck in the canal. Yeah,
I mean, so in short time, we're hoping sometime in September we're going to announce this as our Kickstarter. It's going to be the kit, or if you want to print it yourself and build it yourself, or if you want to purchase it, the different shipping containers, the crane itself, it's all going to be easily available. We talked about it's going to be our generation's USS Flag. If anyone's familiar with the G.I. Joe,
the G.I. Joe carrier. So you're
which was $100 back in the day. So.
Ever Given. There we go.
It was the Ever Given that blocked the Suez Canal.
Yeah.
I see. See, you talked about price. I'm like, all right, 6 buildings, 2 fences, all the other stuff. That's $400. How much is this boat gonna cost?
Yeah, but he said I was actually surprised. You said that you were going to have it available for 3D printing as well.
Correct. Yeah, we're gonna be able to sell the actual files as well. And like I said, those sections that are holding the container, you can add as many of those as you want. So you can have this boat be 10 feet long if you wanted, or you can shorten it down to be 3 feet long. We recommend using it for like serving dinner or sushi and stuff like that. If you want to have it on your table at all times. But I mean, these were prototypes that we had on display, and we're already working on the next level of these. They're just going to keep getting better the more and more Team Monster keeps working with them.
Now you talking about serving for dinner. Now I want to see one of these hooked up to like a remote, and somebody using it to like pick the food up and like rotate over and set the food plate down.
Oh, I want to go further too, because you would need an extremely sturdy table. I want to make this thing watertight and make it float.
That would. We heard all of this stuff at the last 2 conventions we had this thing. Right? I want to do this. I want to do that. One guy just wanted to blow it up. Just like see what it would look like when we blew it up.
Because then you can use
the sky's the limit with it.
You can use the terrain as an exploded ship. You just use the bits.
Yep.
And like
exactly. The sky's the limit with this stuff, and it fits right into all of what Monster Fight Club does. It's playable. It's versatile. It's very, very durable. It's going to be the best thing on your tabletop with minimal effort.
Yeah, the Sean in the chat says that ship is sick, and I agree. That, like I said, and I never got to see it because your booth, I mentioned in the email, your booth was just completely crowded so much. And I saw that there was like a promotion going on with like so were you selling individual containers with like mysteries something inside, or?
So we had a couple ideas. What we did was, you could purchase a container that fell off the boat. Usually the containers come in packs of 5, but we let you buy one of the containers off the boat, and then you could roll the dice you see in the bottom corner. You could roll the dice, and you could either win an additional container or discounts or even a full copy of Combat Zone or a starter faction just by rolling those dice and everything like that. So we had this little chart breakdown. We were going to put stuff into every single container because those containers do open up. Yeah. They lay completely flat. They connect to each other to basically be like Legos. There's no glue. There's no plastic magnets or mold or anything. It's just they all stack together. So we were going to put something in like a little gumball machine, but there were just too many and they were going too fast. We couldn't keep up.
That is one of those kind of like genius ideas where it's like, hey, you like that? You want just like a piece of it? Here you go.
Yeah, it became a little bit of swag, a little giveaway that you could pick up at Gen Con.
Yeah, and even one container you can do a lot with, and especially like in a skirmish game,
Yep.
That's got to be really helpful for, somebody that's developing miniature terrain when you've got a game that so closely kind of works with it. Like you said, a lot of this terrain, you can use it in several different games, but then you've got something like it uniquely fits each piece that you come out with, Even the wood stuff, you could have like a little park and then pull the trees off, and it's like, oh, it's a decayed park.
Exactly. I mean, we did a D&D campaign with my group where we had all the summer trees at the start. We went and did a couple quests, came back and it was autumn. Went and did a couple quests, came back, changed out all the trees to our winter set. So, I mean, it was just for the 6 of us, but it was a nice little visual aesthetic that, the season was changing as we were playing and stuff like that. It just really helped build that fantasy in the mind type thing.
So what's been your favorite pieces of like product that you've come out with? Is it just the base box or?
For terrain or the game itself? I love
just in terrain in general.
Sure, I love the Metropolis terrain. I built a small city in my basement just because I could. Like I had enough of the buildings; it was really great. But The trees are above and beyond anything out there. One of the things I always tell stores when I'm talking to them is you don't have to build it, you don't have to paint it, you don't have to treat it like a baby. When it's all said and done, you could dump this into a bin and tuck it under your table and never have to worry about it again. It's easy to clean, it won't crack. At conventions, I'm throwing these trees off the wall, and people are shocked by it. People are shocked that no damage comes to it. So we wanted it to be versatile and usable, and one less thing you have to worry about. So definitely just the wide range of our trees are definitely my favorite because they're usable in everything. They're usable in science fiction. They're usable in modern times. They're usable in fantasy. So you can have a grouping of these trees and use it again and again, no matter what type of game you're playing.
Yeah, I've pulled up on screen here. This is the pic I was thinking of from Gen Con last year, where it was this big, huge mountainous display. And like I saw that, and it was just like, man, I just want to play something on that. Like I want to be moving minis around because this is like I want to say it was like a 3x3 board or a 4x4 board. So like some of your
3x3.
Yeah, so like your standard kind of skirmish game, but there's just so much in here. And aside from kind of this big cave this one kind of chunk here, most of the rest of these are just individual pieces you can get on the website. Like these random kind of stacks of rock. Those are individual pieces you can get. There's the neoprene with the trees on top. They sell the crystals. Then there's also like the well and like the ladders and such. Like this is just kind of like what you can do with enough of it kind of stuff.
Yeah. And that's what's really great. Is even if if you have a ton of it, it looks awesome. If you have a little bit of it, you can constantly move this stuff around and you'll never have the same table board twice. So it's really helps bring your game to life with minimal effort. And that's what we're going for. We want people to enjoy their tabletop gaming to the next level, but not have to worry about it, not have to spend an arm and a leg to get to that forest that they're trying to build, or that the fighting Star Wars Legion on Endor. Or something like that. It's all doable with Monster Fight Club terrain.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, this is such a niche thing, but I've started making like flyers for our 40K events. And a lot of times I'll be staging different minis, and the terrain works great for the photos of just like putting like a couple different characters on some of the rocks, and then like with the tree maybe like offset in the background kind of thing. It makes for very nice eye-catching photos to put on there. Like I said, very niche kind of example, but it's eye-catching. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, one of my favorite pictures I took was I painted a War Stopper for Age of Sigmar, and I put him in a bunch of the evergreen trees, and it looks like he's just strolling through the forest. And some of the trees are taller than he is, and it's just like he kind of just fits right in. Like, oh my God, there's this giant walking through this forest. Like, what do we do?
And I mean, I know Philip, you were mentioning about you were talking about the price. And how, like for the whole cityscape, it was like $320. But I'll tell you this, just for comparison, like you're only talking like $100 cheaper. This is just like MDF that you got to punch out and assemble and glue yourself to get the same like stuff. And for a lot of people, that $100 is time that that could easily be recalled. I was like there is an option. Like for some of these trees, I saw that there was an option where you could get it unpainted, but I was like, nah. Like if I'm gonna get that high quality product, I'm just gonna pay the little bit extra just to get it already painted, and that's one less thing that I have to put on my shelf or my to paint shelf.
Even the unpainted stuff, though, you hit it with a light dry brush or a wash or something like that, and it does a lot of the work for you. And the texture on it is so good, and it takes, again, I keep saying the minimal effort there for you, but just a little bit of extra time. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to dump an entire paint pot to paint this canopy of trees. It's just a light dry brushing, and it's ready to go for you.
Oh, yeah. All right, Philip, you got any questions? We've kind of, you've been hit with a lot here.
This is I'm looking at all the scenery. Like, this is some cool stuff, man. This I'm
That's
flipping
that's
through
the
all
that's
of
what
the
we run
pages.
into, and that's what we run into. People still don't really know who we are, and again, I'm not saying it because the logo's on my shirt. It's the best in the business. I mean, Dwarven Forge is fantastic, but you got to take a mortgage out
Yeah.
to be able to build a table for that. So we wanted to make this accessible for everybody, and you can use it again and again, and it's going to last. It's going to be durable. You don't have to worry about it breaking or anything.
Yeah, like I like my set of terrain that I use for to play a full 40K set. I think probably it's GW. It's the GW ruins, and that was probably like MSRP is probably like over $200, and so many man hours into, because that's the plastic on sprues. You got to cut them and then glue everything together, and then painting it. And I've got half of it painted, and the other half is kind of like painted and with some rough detail on it, but I haven't so like half of it doesn't look the same as the other half, and so it just for that little bit extra, it's like boom, dump it on the table, and boom, we're ready to go.
It's easy enough, and then when you're done, dump it back into the bin, tuck it under your table. It's ready for you for next time.
Yeah, and like you said, you could even taking it apart, it doesn't even take as much spaces. Well, Rusted Beetles, he says modeling is his hobby. Well, maybe you need to actually play the games on your shelf instead of like painting them.
No, you just collect them and hoard them all.
Well, you can hoard this stuff
that's what I do.
You just make huge dioramas then. They like the ship. We'll just go back to the picture of the ship.
I mean, I'm almost about to have as long as Renegade keeps it up, I will have the season finale of Power Rangers Super Mega Force. I'll just have every Ranger.
So then you're gonna come get me to paint them all so that you can just see, and then you can use the rock terrain from Monster Fight Club to make that little canyon that they had kind of there with everybody lining up.
That's right. There we go.
There you go. It's easy enough.
And then that could be your background for the show.
But no, Dan and I have the same idea, man. We use the Discord backgrounds. We got that cool. Is that like a pig or something?
It's Cyber City. It was like Cyber City, and I was like, well, that seems fitting to talk about.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk.
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know what that face is supposed to be on the monitors though.
Don't tempt me, Frodo Baggins, says Rusted Beetle. All right. Just before we close out the show, I do have a little bit of a. This isn't a Chris Renshaw game, so hopefully it won't suck. And that is one of the games I did pick up at Gen Con that I thought would work great because these like quick party games, kind of just playing a couple rounds, work pretty cool. It's called Everything Ever. And this is.
Oh, I've heard about this.
You've heard about this?
I've heard good things about this.
This is from Floodgate Games. It's the party game you've been preparing for your whole life. And I like, there's all these decks of cards, and I've only like opened up one of them, but I'll go ahead and open up another one here, just so different stuff. And the way this works is there's going to be two cards. I'm going to read them out loud so that for the audio and for everything. And every card has a topic on it. For instance, let me just pull what's on the top here. Like it says every comic strip, it's got a little cute little thing of a there. And then it'll say there'll be two cards. And the other one will say like every dog breed. So you put this out, and the way it works is each person has 10 seconds to name one of each category. Now, if you can't do it, then that's like a penalty, and that's where you get in the full game, and we're not going to deal with all that. But like you get bonus points is if you can name something that's in like both of them. So in this case it might be kind of rough, but like Marmaduke or Marmaduke's not exactly a dog breed, but and then like Snoopy, you could almost say Snoopy's a breed, just like the type of dog, but whatever. I we're just it's all for fun here.
So,
when you had
I'll give it a try.
When you had comics and dog breeds, I was like, oh, crypto.
Oh man. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
like,
good.
I don't know what breed of dog crypto is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, crypto. Boom.
Yeah. We played this. This was a great, like, we played this in the airport. It was like me and Heather playing this while we were waiting for our flight. And it got to the point, Mike's like, I don't want to play, but he ended up being the default judge where somebody's like, wait, does that count as? And there was one, it was like types of bread and states, or no, types of bread and condiments. We went back and forth for like 30 minutes because you just kind of keep going until someone can't name something or names like, on repeat something else.
Okay.
So let's see. So first thing we have, that might be kind of rough. So the first thing we have is every named building.
Okay.
And then every TV show with the word show in it. In the title.
Say it again. What are the two?
Every named building and every TV show with the word show in the title. And you don't have to try and find something that hits both. The idea is you're just supposed to quickly say, like, right now I could go Empire State Building and the Cleveland Show, and my turn's done. Like, I've fulfilled the thing. You just get
The Baxter
bonus...
Building and that 70s show.
There you go. Like, and I think we've already lost Dan on that.
No, you know what it is. You locked me into it. I'm trying to get both in one.
Yeah.
So the Sears Tower and I can't think of a show one, which is
You
crazy.
could have just gone that 80s show. That's the funny.
I didn't want to pick you.
The funny part is, like, when someone, like, we had a sci-fi one, and then Heather named, like, Star Trek. Well, fine, Star Trek: The Next Generation.
There you go.
All right, I'm gonna draw two new ones because that's. Oh, here we go. No, we just said dog breeds. I'm not gonna say that one again. Oh, here we go. This is perfect. Perfect right here. Every Chris. Or Christine or Christopher or Christy. So every Chris, and then the other category is every food you can eat with your hands.
Hot dogs and Chris Evans.
Tacos and Chris Pratt.
Choco tacos and me.
Nice. Christina Aguilera and hamburgers.
Christina Ricci and corn dogs.
I ran out of Christopher Columbus and quesadillas.
Chris Pratt and burritos.
Didn't you say Chris Pratt already, Philip?
I did.
Oh,
come on.
All right.
All
right. We'll do one more. Every movie title that's a question. And no, that's dumb. This has got to be entertaining.
I had it.
What? No.
Dude, where's my car?
No. That one's still in. It was the other one was every river. I was like, that's dumb.
Mississippi. Boom. Done.
Every movie title that's a question, and every person known by one name.
Dude, where's my car? Adele.
Nice.
Okay. Prince and oh God, I'm drawing. I just had one. Oh, you guys are putting me on the spot. I'm not liking this here.
Well, I'll go. Oh, brother, where art thou? And Bono. Yeah, the movie titles with the question is the one where you're like, ugh.
I feel like I'm looking off into the distance like an idiot right now. Oh, this is tough. This is a movie that's a question.
Yeah.
So many people are going to hound me for this, not knowing.
No, it's fine because like I can't think of a second one. Oh, here we go. All right. This one.
Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, good. Gee, you're good at this.
Dang.
That was a good one.
Dang, Philip. All right. This one should be easier. Every time travel movie and every G-rated curse word. So I'm gonna
Time
go.
Cop and Dang.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna
Back
go
to the
with.
Future and fart.
I'm gonna go with Dang Nabbit and Back to the Future Part 2.
I'll complete the set. Back to the Future 3 and crap.
Philip, I think it's you.
Star Trek 4,
Oh,
The Voyage Home, and gosh.
Gosh.
Primer. Anybody seen Primer? And oh god, I can't. What is it? I can't think of the word from Battlestar Galactica that they would always use.
Frack.
Frack.
You helped me out on that one, but yeah.
But that's more of a like.
It's G-rated us.
Yeah, like you know.
Is it to me?
Yeah.
Is Interstellar time travel?
Yeah.
That and Fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks.
Oh.
I would definitely say, like, for me, just my dad. It's a one letter. It's a one word in the South. Golly. And then,
Monday through Friday plane.
Oh no!
Just looking at what Rusted Beetle put in there.
No. Okay, hold on. But first, let me. I need a time travel movie, and he said Terminator, so I can't think of anything that's not Terminator. But no, have you seen the Snakes on a Plane? There's an edited clip. There's an edited clip that's like been dubbed over, where it's like what you can air on TV. And it's like, I'm tired of these monkey flipping snakes on this Monday through Friday plane.
Jeez.
All right, I think that's enough torture for Dad for one night. So yeah.
No, I'm thinking of more.
My problem is we didn't.
Avengers.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Avengers Endgame. And Foiled is the one I always use. I like that one.
Nice
Language.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a good one where you could get the combos, like one of the ones they showed in the example where it's like every Smith ever, and it's like every child actor, and you could say Jaden Smith.
Oh.
Mm.
That's kind of like the toss up there. Or like you remember I told you we went round and round with condiments and types of bread. I went with crouton.
Oh.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. And
That's a cool game though. I like that.
Yeah, and the way it works is like every time you like stumble like that, you like get the card as a penalty. And then when you make like when you get the duel where you hit both of them, then you get to get rid of said penalties, and you also get to play like you have a hand of cards, so you're not just at the whim of random. You can actually play like, I know a bunch of these, I'm gonna throw this one down. So, and there's like this is all the cards it comes with. So there's like awesome. I've only opened up 2 of them. So, and then of course there's all sorts of different, because every one of these games has to have like 15 different variants that you could do. So there you go. That's everything ever from Floodgate Games. Floodgate?
That's a good
Floodgate.
pickup. Good party game.
So with that, thank you, Dan, so much for coming on to the show.
No problem.
That's been this week's episode. If you want to check us out live, you got to go to boardsandswords.com/live. That's got the schedule for where we're going to be streaming and all the links straight to the live streaming channels.
All right, Dan, thank you so much for coming on the show. Where do people need to keep in touch in order to find out what else Monster Fight Club has going on? Yeah,
I mean, shoot me an email. I'll keep you guys in the loop. That's no problem.
And holy crap, there was so much going on in this episode. I forgot to even mention. So we're not going to have a show in 2 weeks because Nova Open is going to be happening. But we're doing it live. We have a live show going on at Nova Open. And I forgot to mention, I'm going to probably put something in the beginning of the episode. We're going to have guests. We're going to have Adam Loper from Tabletop Minions is coming on the show, along with his co-creator for they have a whole bunch of mini RPGs that they do, and Vince, that's the other guy that what was it? Sprawling Badger Studios. I just had it written down, but their game studio is both Adam and Vince. They're going to come on the show and talk about their minis games, and then we'll be taking stories from the chat or stories from people there. There's going to be giveaways, etc. I'm going to be setting up a link, boardsandswords.com/Nova Open. If you want to go get tickets, they're free. You just have to have a Nova badge to go there because it's a convention. That's how the things work. So yeah. Uncle Adam is going to be on Boards and Swords next time. So you're not going to want to miss that out. Yes, Vince Ventrella. Yes, that is who I'm talking about, Hoser 40K. So you're not going to want to miss out next week's episode. It's not going to be live unless you're there in Nova, in which case you better be there live. But boardsandswords.com/live has the normal schedule for that. There's going to be lots of stuff there. So in the meantime, thank you everyone for tuning into the show. We'll be back in 4 weeks, I guess. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the show regardless. In the meantime, thank you so much. And in this, every gamer has a story. And the first thing about Monster Fight Club is you tell everybody about Monster Fight Club. And then
Please do.
all right. Good